Hello, I'm Ben. I made a video last Saturday, in conjunction with a blog that I've been writing for the last 3 weeks or so, which is about my attempted suicide and the recovery from it. If you want to read the blog or look at the video, then I'll put links down there. I don't actually know how to fire them up on the screen because I'm very technologically inept, as you can probably gather from the editing of this video and the last one. So yeah, and also sorry for this stupid thing on my head. It keeps my hair out of my eyes because it's gone really curly because it's rainy. Sorry, I need tea. Right, so this week I have been blogging about lots of different things, mainly about feeling actually a little bit better than I was this time last week, which is a good thing. And I'm not sure whether it's down to me or whether it's antidepressants or therapy or a combination of all of them and more, but it's happened. So one of the things I spoke about in my blogs this week was a canvas that I found underneath the spare bed in my mum's room that I painted a couple of years ago. It's just hanging up there. I'm not going to try and get it down to show you because I think it will be reflected in the camera, so you won't get the full view of it, but the pictures of it is on one of the blogs entitled Love, if you want to have a look. On the back of the canvas is a list of things that kind of define events and things and people and stupid references that you kind of have with your group of friends, that me and my group of friends had at that time. It kind of defined my life for about 6 months in late 2009, early 2010 when I first moved to Bristol. And reading through them, I listed them all on the blog as well, so if you want to have a look, check it out. Reading through them was kind of a really big moment for me because it made me realise that a lot of life's sort of fun, or a lot of the kind of lust for life can come in the intricate details, or can come in the things that you surround yourself with, and the mundane things that don't actually seem to matter that much at the time, but when you look back are huge. So kind of trying to relish more about what life is has been quite a big step forward. Also today when I was having a shower, I wrote about this on my blog actually today, to the soundtrack of Come On Eileen by Dexy's Midnight Runners, because I love that song. Not because I love that song, it just happened to be playing at the time. But I kind of had a moment of clarity and thought about the fact that it's the first time since I tried to that I didn't actually want to be ill anymore, which is kind of weird because for the whole rest of the time I've just kind of given into it, I guess, in a way, and sort of thought, okay, this is it. This is how I'm going to feel for the rest of my life. I'm always going to feel asphyxiated. I'm always going to feel like the air around me is stale, and like I'm never going to be able to release myself. I'm never going to be able to release everything that's inside of me. I'm never going to be able to operate or function in a normal way within society. I'm always going to be sort of dampened down by what is me. That was a lot more existential than I thought it was going to be. But so it was kind of a big moment. It was, and bittersweet as well, because on the one hand, I can kind of start getting better and focusing on getting better and focusing on getting back to London rather than being in Norfolk, and focus on my university degree and focus on doing all the stuff that I really enjoy and that I'm really passionate about, like fighting against the cuts and fighting for freedom for Palestine and against capitalism and all of those things. But also sorry, I completely lost my thread then. It's also kind of, like I said, bittersweet because it means that I'm on the road to kind of getting back to where I was, and I've spoken a lot, mainly in the blog obviously because I only made one video, but about how I want to get better and how I what I need to do to make that reality. For me, better is not being the same as before, because before ended up in me sitting in my dingy little flat. I say dingy, it's really nice, but sitting in my metaphorically dingy flat in Whitechapel, taking a shit ton of pills, and then being found by my two flatmates and rushed to hospital, and then my mum having to drive all the way down, and then friends being there, and the anguish and the kind of, the anxiety of that, people being scared, people being hurt, me being scared, me being hurt, me being kind of pissed off that I didn't manage to even complete my own suicide, all of those sort of feelings. That's what being normal for me has resulted in. So I need to be better. I need to get better than that. I need to somehow manage to kind of take that leap and to start believing in myself, and to start actually recognising that I have some attributes, start recognising that I'm not a shit person, as much as it pains me to say it. Recognising that I'm not fat, as much as I don't believe that for 1 second, but recognising that I'm not ugly, again, I don't actually believe that for 1 second right now, but I'm sure in time that will come. It's just about how to get there and how to make that a reality, which is quite a difficult road to tread, and it's quite a long road to tread, as far as I can gather. So this week I also wrote about love, which is a big thing for me. Not writing about it because I write about this stuff all the time. I write a lot of poetry about love, which I'll stick a link to down there as well. Don't expect anything kind of happy or uplifting or anything. It's generally very down and depressed and kind of breakup poetry, but it's there nonetheless. Love is a big thing for me, as in it's a big thing in my world. I desperately crave love. That's something that I do recognise in myself, and I know that there are lots of people in the world that desperately crave love and desperately crave a significant or several significant others in their lives to make them feel better, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. The problem comes for me when I use that, as I did with my ex. We were together for about 18 months officially, probably a little bit longer, I can't really remember. But I used that as kind of vicarious reinforcement for the person that I was, for the person that I am, rather than that coming from within, which is, for me at least, a very, very dangerous thing to do, and an incredibly toxic thing to do, and led kind of inevitably to the breakup of that relationship, which was incredibly messy, because we'd moved in together, and I'd moved up there to be with him and to be at uni together, and all sorts of other things. So we had the same group of friends, and as you can imagine, it got quite nasty. So love is kind of, especially at Christmas as well, love is a very, very big thing, and it's kind of plastered everywhere, and you're sort of fed this image of love and couples holding hands and people buying, doting their significant other or others with these lavish gifts, and going on winter wonderland walks down the embankment, and all of these lovely things. And then you get the people that are kind of left alone, that aren't in love or aren't loved, or don't have a significant other or others, and that kind of sucks. But I guess the point for me is that it's kind of pragmatic that I don't, because I need that to come within, which is difficult. And I would really love to kind of shortcut that, and to sort of just say, okay, well, I'm just going to put a plaster over my own shortcomings in terms of being able to recognise what I am and what I am not, and use somebody else to do that, and use somebody else's sort of reinforcement, somebody else finding me attractive, or finding me sexy, or finding me cute, or finding me intelligent, or wanting me to be there, or wanting me to, needing me to be there, or ringing me up for advice, and using that as a sort of doorstop, as it were, instead of actually solving the root of the problem. So I'm kind of in two minds about it, and I would love to be able to just sort of say, oh fuck it, I'm gonna forget about it, but I know that means that I won't ever get properly better. So, and I can't remember who said it. It may not actually be a proper quote. I may have just like conjured it up from folklore, but you can't love somebody. You can't expect to be loved unless you love yourself, which is quite a thing. And my mum might have said that to me actually. I don't know. Someone said it. Which I think is quite a key thing in life generally. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about, I know it's been a really rambly kind of video, and I should probably make some notes before I do the next one, because otherwise I just sort of go on and on and don't really ever come to a conclusion, which is kind of what bipolar feels like. But anyway, the last thing I want to talk about is blogging, which is what as I said, I've been doing for the last 3 weeks or so, and it's been really good. It's been a really good thing to do. It's been really cathartic and really calming, and kind of forcing myself to take an hour or two out of the day to kind of stare at a blank piece of paper on a computer screen and just to write whatever comes into my head and whatever I feel at that time, and to kind of try and frame my emotions and try and frame my feelings into words that people will understand and into ways that I can understand, has been a really good thing. As I said in the previous video, that's what I want to do kind of when I grow up at some point. I would love to be a writer. I don't think I could ever write fiction or anything like that. I'd like to write for a newspaper, and I'd also quite like to write books. Over this summer, when I was kind of having a period of kind of Ben versus the world, I decided that I wanted to write a book about human rights, and I met with a friend and comrade about it, and I kind of drew up some plans and started doing some research, and my plan was to kind of write it over the course of doing my degree, but I don't actually think that's going to happen, which is sad in a way, because it's something I'm really passionate about, and it's something I really want to write, and I'm really passionate. I already said that. I really want to write in the future, but I think before I can kind of take on the world, I need to take on myself, which is a big enough task. So kind of with these blogs, as I said, it's been really cathartic and good and calming and nice to be able to spend all of that time doing something that I love, and it is something that comes really kind of naturally to me to just be able to kind of type away, because I don't know, I just feel like I can express myself a lot better with words, and I've always hated like white blank pages. There's a cartoon, I can't remember what it's called. It's a Disney cartoon, and at the start in the series, it might be Mickey's House of Fun, and in this opening credits there's a bit where Pluto the dog has a big stack of scripts, and he's kind of going up a ladder with them, and I always imagined, like I always wanted to have that amount of paper of words that I've written somewhere, and every summer holiday I tried to do that, and one summer I remember writing, I think I must have been about 8 or 9, I tried to write a script for The Hobbit, like fully script the whole novel. Obviously Peter Jackson got there first, and I don't think I would have got very far, and I got distracted by doing things that children do over their summer holidays. But yeah, so it's kind of difficult, because I'm not sure whether the blog has kind of started to become something which is a bit narcissistic and self-indulgent, and just me sort of word spunking all over Facebook and the internet. But I think it's still important at the moment for me to do it, because it's kind of too scary to think about what it would be like not to kind of spend that time doing it every day, and not to spend that amount of time thinking about getting better and thinking about what's going on in my head and trying to frame it. So I kind of made a commitment to myself to do it until New Year. I'm going to try and aim it or put a direction on it now, from now until New Year, which kind of works out. It's from tomorrow until the 1st of January is 10 days. So on the end of every single blog, for the next 10 days, I'm going to try and write a reason to live, and explain why that's a good reason. I don't mean like silly things, like cigarettes, which was going to be my first one, but I think I might have to reconsider, because smoking is bad, kids. Yeah, I think that's kind of all I've got for today. I'm going to edit this tomorrow morning. I say edit, but I'm not. I'm going to clump it together and put it on YouTube. But I'm going to attempt to edit it tomorrow morning, and then I'll upload it. I hope your Saturday night was by the time you watch this, was filled with fun and happiness. Yeah, Merry Christmas.